Hi, we're live. Hey, JoAnn. Hi, good to see you. Good morning.
Morning.
So, everyone, this is JoAnn Fowler, and she's the creator and holder, really, of Sappho New Paradigm Cosmetics. And JoAnn, I've known you for so many years, and we did this interview once already, and now we're doing it again. We have our another
I know
opportunity.
to catch up. It was so much fun to catch up. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
totally. And so, I thought today we could talk a little bit about, our life together as artists, like how our paths intermingled and the different experiences we had, and also how you came to create this beautiful line of makeup. I really still do believe a lot of people are being educated about what they put on their skin, that how important it is to know what we eat and what we drink, but also what we apply to self
For
in
sure. I
all
mean, one of the analogies that seems to work with a lot of people that, hadn't really thought about it before is the whole idea of patches. You know,
oh,
patches have been developed so that they go on your skin and those drugs go into your bloodstream.
right.
So if you think of that analogy, then you think of everything that you put on your skin. There's a percentage of that product that could get into your bloodstream. And with conventional cosmetics, we're talking about thousands of chemicals that have either not been tested or have been tested and thrown out by the EU, and to a lesser extent Canada, and to no extent in the United States. So,
Wow.
yeah, like I think, the European Union banned, I think it was like 1,300 chemicals that went into personal care items. And that was like around 2008. That's when that was the impetus for me to get involved, was an actress, Mia Kirshner, who was living in Paris at the time. Sort of beyond all of this, right? This is how it happened, right? And the funny part with that was that I had just bought, probably $1,000 worth of skincare for her and stuff.
Yeah.
So she sat in my chair and she said, "Oh, I'm not wearing any more parabens anymore." And I was like, "Oh, well, I don't know what you're talking about." And that sort of started me off on the journey. But the truth is that the European Union has banned over 1,300 chemicals. Canada now has caught up to about 450. But in 2008, it was the same as the States. 41 or 44 chemicals have been banned in the United States since the inception of the FDA. And so many of these are, are endocrine disruptors. So what an endocrine disruptor is that your endocrine system is your hormonal system.
Right.
So there's these things called phthalates, and phthalates are found in fragrance. Anything that's a synthetic fragrance has a phthalate in it. And a phthalate has a direct result or a direct connection. There's a direct connection between a phthalate and your endocrine disruption. And so what's happening across the United States and in North America generally is that it's affecting baby boys as fetuses. So it's affecting the sexual development of baby boys as fetuses. So baby boys are being born with urethra at the bottom of their penis instead of at the bottom or middle of the penis instead of the top, testicular cancer, undescended testicles. And just think about all the people that are going to fertility clinics.
Yeah.
Okay, so acts.
Well,
But just look at the synthetic fragrance and all the kids have been using these synthetic fragrances on their bodies, and think about the connections that they're finding in science now that are directly connected to the sexual development of baby boys. What I can say, the thing is that when the European Union, when they banned all these chemicals, their poster picture was a picture of the perfume by Christian Dior called Poison. And it's an iconic picture. It looks like a woman is sitting at a beautiful city, doing her makeup, and really from far away, it's a picture of a skull. It's very iconic. You can Google it. It's amazing. And Poison, actually, in actual fact, that perfume had more phthalates in it. Had 39 phthalates in it.
Wow.
9 endocrine disruptors. Now, Christian Dior has taken, of course, all of it out. And I believe that they've also taken it out worldwide.
Wow.
However, a lot of companies, and I don't know that for sure. So, but I know that they've taken it out in Europe for sure. And so it is, the truth is that you're able to make these products without these dangerous chemicals in them. And the only reason to make them with the dangerous chemicals in them is to make money.
Profit over
people. So, so there's a lot of layers to Sappho. And it's not just about, but it's about empowering yourself with knowledge so that no one else is making that decision for you that's going to affect your life, your health, your being, your, everything about you. So it's about empowering women in particular, because we're the ones that we've been sold this, I love makeup because it's adornment,
Yes, it is. Yeah.
I'm like you, I don't have to wear makeup, but when I wear makeup, people are like, wow, you should wear makeup all the time. But you know what I mean? But I don't, because I don't care. You know what I mean? Like I love it, but I love it as an adornment, and I loved it as a storytelling thing. And I love to just, make myself feel better sometimes, but I don't, it's not for me something that I have to do every day, or that I can't walk out the door without makeup. I'm not that person. And so, I just think it's about, a new paradigm of makeup,
awareness,
of doing business too, of talking things out. And especially with COVID, I'm finding that, as a business person, that people are a lot, we're working together. There's a lot more synergy between companies, and a lot more dialogue and understanding. And it's kind of, that part's been kind of nice.
Yeah, it's amazing what has been birthed from this time, the slowdown time and the stillness and the opportunity to actually reframe, recreate,
and
really
learn.
sit with it and learn. Yeah, absolutely. And, part of why you have a special place in my heart, besides, the friendship, JoAnn was at my child's first birth and holding space for me as I was going through that adventure of a 17-and-a-half-hour labor. For me, it's the passion you've had. Like, I remember in the very beginning of you having that desire to create something from an artist's perspective, from the generosity that you are as a human. And I just remember like you on set with all these piles of research and any opportunity you had, because really it began in really early years of internet, or even internet was growing after you jumped in. Because I remember your binder, I remember you researching, I remember you going, oh my God, Patricia, listen to this.
No, and I still do.
Yeah.
The thing is that I research, like it never stops. Like I research hours and hours and hours. Right now I'm very deeply into, sustainable because trying to find out ways that a small company can actually maneuver through that because I don't, it breaks my heart to think that some of our things go into the landfill, so I really, that's who I am. I'm a student, I think I'm a voracious student. Yeah, I love to research everything.
Yeah. And, it also, it takes someone like there's a special recipe in you and others similar that have this passion to bring their vision to life. Like the recipe really does include a lot of curiosity and
Yeah.
willingness to learn and willingness to be a leader, student, like that it's a continual motion. It's
Mm-hmm.
inclusive, willingness to bring in a team, willingness to listen. We were just speaking, I think, before the video started, I don't remember, but about the next younger generation. Like you and I are in this place in life. What are we going to leave here? Like really, we only have so many years left.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
we've had a full life, and I mean, I can speak self. I've lived life in every edge, testing, exploring everything possible, and now still, what is going to be that I leave? What is it going to be? How am I going to serve, mentor, support, hold the next generation? Because Earth is continue way past my lifetime, our lifetime.
Well, I often say like this company is my apology to the next generation.
Wow.
You know, I really want to leave uh, uh, the world a little, maybe a little bit better,
Yeah.
or at least the choices to offer a little, something that's a little bit better of a choice, so that people can live, you know, more healthily. I don't know in the long run if that's, if that'll work or not, or if that will have any staying power. I have no idea. Um, but it's certainly, being 65 years old, it's certainly something that I think about, and I think about certainly, I you see the world in a bit of a different way. But I've always been passionate, and I was talking to somebody earlier this morning, and the other part of my job is, at Sappho, is also really super creative. So even though I'm not doing makeup anymore, I'm working with designers, and I'm working with colors and visions and paintings and art, and they're all, young women that I work with, across the world, and this amazing team of people that have come together that, for all different reasons. I found myself sitting in London, like with, all these, Central St. Martin's School of Design in London, England, with like these young women that are just, one's like got an MA in industrial design, and the other one's got, a degree in design from, Parsons School in Paris, and like another one's got an MA in business from UNCED in Singapore, and we're all like talking about making displays and metal displays, and everybody's, and it's been so, like, that creative part of my job is like so great. Like I mean, part of me, I woke up this morning thinking, God, when is it ever going to just settle out, so that you know what's going to happen every month. Like I do, it is a lot, because there's only two of us in the company per se.
Yeah.
But we have this amazing net of people, including the Vancouver makeup and hair people, and photographers that we have used and have been so great to work with, and have offered us so much. I mean, if you look at our website, it's like stellar. It's like, I'm so proud of it.
Can you tell everybody a little bit about the names, JoAnn? Because I love how you've entwined everything in your life into this passion and endeavor.
Well, I mean, Sappho is a poet, and I was on the L Word, and so Sappho is she's kind of iconic with the gay community. So that's sort of one connection. The other connection is that she is an artist, and Plato called her the most important artist of his time, and she's often referred to as the poetess, as a muse, as the 11th muse. And Sappho was, I like to say that bitch has been around for 2,000 years. And she's like the only poet that has a bust in the Library of Congress in the States. She was the first poet, among the first poets to write in first person. So until then, it was always like guys talking about, their conquests and their ventures, and it was always in third person. It was always, a story being told. And then here came this lyricist, because she was a poet. She wrote for music, actually, and Sapphic meter is named after her as well. And she wrote about her love and her life, and she was sexually fluid. She was in love with men. She was in love with women. She had a child. She was very, very educated. She was sequestered to the Isle of Lesbos with her family for political reasons. And to me, she embodies this spirit of living your life on your own terms, and being creative, and being an artist, and being a female, and speaking your truths. And and her life was not, it was also tragic. It was everything. And so for me, it was like, and in fact, we have it on our website now, and it's a piece of her poetry. There's only a few pieces of her poetry left, really. And one of them says, I'm not going to quote it per word, sorry. But it's like, I'll tell you in another time, someone will be talking of us. And I'm like, yeah. And also, the other favorite that I have is, that really was, spurred me to the name, was, what is beautiful is good, and who is good will soon be beautiful. So that sort of encompasses the intention of this company. And because we strive to be good in our ingredients, in our sourcing, in our messaging, in our packaging now, and that's the intention of Sappho. And so we are a small company. I was devastated a number of years ago financially by a would-be investor that wanted me to. Anyway, won't go into it, but I did fight a court case with him, and I did win against a gentleman that had 3 to 4 lawyers the first day for sure. And I didn't have one, but I did have a couple of friends that were not lawyers, but were friends. They helped me. So I've been through a lot to sort of keep the integrity of the ingredients. We go as far as things like none of our minerals are mined by children. All our ingredients rate 2 or under on the EWG scale for safe ingredients on the Skin Deep. If you go to skindeep.com, you can put in all your ingredients and you put in products, and you can come up with a score from 0 to 10. Very informative. But it's the first place you start with your research. So I'm just going to say it's not the end all be all. There's a lot of other stuff that comes, we're also vegan. So we don't do any animal testing. We're also cruelty free. We use no animal byproducts in our products. I don't really see the point of it. We can create things without that. And we're made in a 0 carbon footprint facility in Canada. So we've got, some good stuff going on. But we're tiny, and it's okay. It's okay to be tiny. It's okay.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah. So, but you and I mean, we also did, like, my first key job was with you. You were, we did that together.
Yeah, the film adventure. Jo, I was just sitting here listening, and I was wondering, what do you think, like, here you are, holding this company and creating and all this happening there. What do you feel that you learned in film all those years that supports this?
Okay.
Because a lot of times when people are stepping from one career to another, and they transition, there's a growth period of awareness that you're transferring skills over that actually has always been in you. You know, for myself, with the work I do, with the work my husband does, the healing work, lots of people will say, well, what does makeup artist on film have to do with your healing work? And it's actually everything, because film prepared me for holding retreats.
Yes, absolutely.
Prepared me for holding many in that kind of present moment energy. So yes, please, for yourself, what do you notice?
Well, you know, this is my third incarnation. I was a childcare counselor for my first incarnation, and so that, when you talk about holding space, that helped me to be a better makeup artist, because I could really tune into people's needs quite easily, and I knew how to hold space for them. So when they were sitting in my chair, I was 100% with them, and just like you are. And like many of the healing stories that you've been putting on Facebook that I've been reading are all about that, about those moments in time where you have those like very small interactions, and they mean so much in a word or two words, or leading them, you know, all that kind of stuff. So, and you're, you know, genius at that. I had to learn. I had to go to school to learn that. It's in you. It is you. So I've always appreciated that. And so that was good to help me as a makeup artist. But the thing that has really helped me I get so emotional when I talk to you. I don't know why.
I think others out there will relate.
But it's thinking on your feet. It's being able to change like that. And that's the thing. Like, you know, when you're talking to somebody in film and you're in the middle of a conversation, and all of a sudden this look goes on their eyes, and you know they're going to run, right? Yeah. You know that they've heard something, or they've seen something, or something's going on, and they have to react right now. Yeah. And they're gone, and you don't take it personally at all.
Yeah.
I do that in my regular life. People think it's a bit weird. Like, I'll just, you know what I mean? And it's a bit ADD. So, but it really, like, and like when things go awry, like, you know, maybe there's it's like a challenge comes up, like, oh, there's too many of this product, or, you know, the caps didn't come in, or the labels are wrong, or, you know, with 100 products, it's like every day there's something, you know, some fire. From film, I know how to deal with that. It's an automatic.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when the director comes to you and they go, so where's the prosthetic for the head?
Yeah.
And I'm like, on Final Destination 3, I think it's 3. So the director's wondering where the prosthetic is for the head. And I'm like, oh, that's an interesting question. Let me find out. Toby, where's the prosthetic for the head? There is no prosthetic. Oh, okay. So, So what's, there was never one ordered. I'm like, okay, so what do we need here, right? And special visual effects are like, well, we got to put a cap on. We need something to build on, something to, you know, make something to give us something to work with, you know. And I'm like, okay, all right, okay. So then we get, you know, I don't know what we used as like
whatever you had in your bag,
A and B epoxy or something, and I think they had like wax, and so we built like a crown. And I'm saying, I turn around to Tanya and I'm like, okay, go to the store. I want Chinese noodles. I want lychee nuts. I want, you know, anything red. I want anything that looks like noodles. And we did brains.
Yeah.
Brains in this thing with all, and then like we were laughing so hard. I was like, oh my God, now we have to go to craft service and get the 3-layer dip. Right. Not far, but you know, like we made it all with like grocery store food.
Yeah.
And we built brains, and they were like, oh my God, they were so grateful. Yeah. And you see this shot, the guy gets his head, you know, severed off at a burger joint or something. And it's brilliant. And it's brilliant. So, I mean, it's like that kind of thing where you sort of go, like, you just, and it happens all the time in film. Oh, yeah, no, all this, oh, I want the nails to come and I want them to be bleeding. And, and you're like, oh, okay. And it's the next scene, right? And you're calling props and you're and you're running and you're just getting the blood and you're getting all the nails that you've had in your kit for like 40 years. And, and it's like that. So that kind of energy and that kind of willingness to shift gears and to become creative in your thinking.
Yeah, and resourcing.
And it's like Norma used to say when she worked on Doctor Who, like back in England, like 45 years ago. It was like everything you could make with a little bit of spit and string. You know what I mean? And that ability to be creative in the moment is something that film makeup artists, and I'm sure fashion makeup artists, I'm going to say makeup artists that are, working professionally and having to create something to please, a vision of a collective vision is an amazing talent. And that's, that's the fun. At the end of one of those days, you are spent, but you are laughing and you feel really good. And that's really, and also I think actually organizing, as crazy as unorganized as I am, but like just keeping track of things and pieces and, there's a lot of, there's a lot of transferable. So I don't think I think, for me, if you're working film, you have a work ethic that is killer. And that's one of the things that a lot of producers miss, that people don't go to work in film to do a bad job.
Yeah, they're creative.
Especially if they're creative. They want it to be fucking great. You know what I mean? And they're there till that very bitter end in that mud and rain to do that,
Yeah.
So I would hire somebody that's worked in film in a second, because I know that if they're in 100%. And I actually have somebody working with me that's like that. She didn't come from film, but her father did. Yeah. And she's got that. She's there 100. Noemi Clayco. She's 100%, 150%. And that's that spirit. That.
Well, that's the spirit for your company too, really, right? That creativity, that 100%, sometimes 110% in the way of, when so much is coming at you and it's change all the time, it's that availability to move with it quickly.
Yeah.
And
in film.
Yeah. And what's interesting, as you were talking, I was remembering, you'll hear this, is it takes 10,000 hours to master. So master it, anything, is when it becomes natural. There's no more filter, there's no more trying to make it happen. It's just sitting and resting in it.
Right.
And then I think when we've achieved that, it actually, after that, is new beginnings.
Yes.
Because you're totally new territory, you're expanded into this new awareness, consciousness through however life translates it. And then again, you have the opportunity
to go through all that confusion.
That's 10,000 hours, Yeah. And I one of the beauties of filmmaking and other work, I'm sure, that's contract out there in the world, is that when you work long hours with others, you become very close to them, and so in that, you actually learn to navigate around different, like you were saying earlier, different people's needs, different people's communication levels, whatever they are, skills or no skills. You learn to work with it, so that becomes second nature. And that's so supportive of what you do now, I can see in your work, is because what I'm noticing all these years, you doing what you do with Sappho, is you're in constant evolution.
Constant. Yeah.
There's no boundaries for you. There's no stopping. Okay, this is how it is. You actually continually to grow your brand. You continually to be aware of the environment. Like your new packaging is beautiful, and the work that you're doing to honor British Columbia and the people that were here before us, all the peoples, and all the honoring of that, and your diversity, like your willingness to create more and more skin tones. I believe you were the first natural line that I can remember that was available to me for a variance of skin tones. That still commercially, all the skin tones were very low in their ability to create the tonality necessary.
Well, and the thing was, though, for me, that I would have actually had more had I had, number one, it was all self-funded. So, it was never supposed to be a business, number one. It was supposed to
just pause here.
It was supposed to be a little line that I had on set until I retired. So I was 50 years old. So honestly, it wasn't really conceived as a business. I thought I'd have a little online thing,
Surprise.
So surprised, yeah. So it has all been self-funded. So, so we haven't had the range that we, like we couldn't, like a new line just came up last week that has like 40 colors. So we have 14, but they're 14 beautiful colors, and they have a lot of range in between each one of them. And we have always honored, my kid has, I always did makeup for whoever walked in the door.
As an artist, yeah, we've spoken of this before, the importance.
Before, yeah, my kit was pretty spectacular by the time I left the business. It would fit a truck, especially after the L word.
Yeah, and just availability, to be an artist, to be grounded in the art. So when someone sits in your chair, it's a canvas to paint.
Yeah.
It's texture, color, tone, and like you said, creating a character. So for those that don't work in film, it's a creating between the actor, the artist, the producer, director, the network. All of that, you're interpreting and translating all of that to create something that is camera ready, that
everyone is happy with.
That amplifies the story.
Yeah, and helps to tell the story without being obvious. That's the other thing. And so, if it wouldn't matter, whoever walked in the door, you had to have your makeup for, and of course,
Yeah.
To me, it's respectful to be able to offer as many offerings as you can to as many people as you can, and certainly as we grow, it's always been our ethos, and it will continue to be our ethos, and we continue to learn. You learn. And you ask questions, and you just get willing to learn, I guess. It's just,
that's such a big one. It's a big theme, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And but really for me, Sappho is for all women and men too. It's for everyone, but it's for people that want to make intelligent choices, that want to be woke, that want to make choices based on information and
science
and
biology, the chemistry,
and to trust that many of these chemicals that are in conventional cosmetics are really, really damaging.
Yeah, and not only to the person using it, but the environment, the production of it, that endless not enoughness that marketing.
Frosted glass is not recyclable. Everybody, frosted glass. Who knew that?
Yeah.
Sorry, to interrupt.
Yeah, no, I'm glad. Shut it out, man. Here's the time.
Set up the gun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. You can swear here.
Yeah, and I will. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like frosted glass, can you imagine?
Yeah.
You know, and even the glass that we're using, I found out this week, is like it's recyclable, but you have to have like you have to be in a certain, you know, it has to go in a certain area. So we're going to be, you know, we're taking back all of that information. You learn, you learn, you learn, and you get better.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I guess that's what Sappho is about. It's about learning and getting better and getting greener as we grow. And you know, like our first line, we came out, we had a line that was, you know, had coconut oil in it as a base, and you know, so like we took off.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people were breaking out because of a lot of people that have acne and stuff like that have a really hard time with coconut oil. So we pulled it back.
Yeah.
You
And
know, and it is that ability to sort of change things and go, oh, okay, all right, well, we need to do this. We need to reformulate. We need to reformulate. We reformulated and went back to an original uh, formula that didn't have coconut oil in it. So
yeah, it's all that learning, right?
it's
Yeah.
like learning it's like learning. You have to be able to listen to what people are saying, and then
That's another one, is that a willingness to listen, like not only to yourself. So like you're listening to yourself by inviting people to come forward with their experience.
Mhm.
And then you're listening to another and creating change with that. So it's that constant new beginning, that constant growth, that constant awareness. Let's do better. We can do better. How can we do better? Let's come together and do better.
Yeah.
You know, can you imagine?
I check with Noemi with almost everything. You know, I always check everything against everyone else. Like I always, you know, right now I'm doing a presentation. So my presentation on you know, environmental costs, because now we're not just looking at recycling. We're looking at, you know, from what they call from, you know, birth to cradle to grave. So we're looking at, you know, what is the transportation costs in terms of carbon footprint? So we're looking at all the different, you know, things, and also recycling rates. I mean, America, 6% of plastic is recycled. That is absolutely not acceptable.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely not acceptable. Also, everything that's under 2 inches falls through. It doesn't get recycled. It goes right to the landfill. So even though you put it in recycling, and even though it is recyclable, the machines won't take anything that is 2 inches or less. So there's so many levels that we have to, like, I didn't know. You know what I mean? Like, and so, you know, there's so many different levels of these things that
yeah.
And there's super simple fixes too. Now, they might take a little bit of time because you've got to, you know, also weigh out, well, what packaging do we have that we get to use for the next little while, because it would cost more to the environment to remake it or to replace it.
Exactly.
And so you make all those decisions, but really it's like everything that I learned in film I can actually use. You know, I do Photoshop. One of the funniest things was one of the producers, Barb. Oh gosh, what's her last name? I can't remember right now. What's that?
Go for it. Tell me.
Anyway, she was quite funny. I was talking. She's been a Sappho supporter for a long time, and we were laughing. And she's, because I actually had to hire an AD for a photo shoot. And she just laughed. And she just said, I never thought I'd see the day when you were hiring an assistant director for a job. And I just, and Christine Derrick did it, and it was amazing. We did a 2-day shoot. And so a lot of the things that I learned in film, I actually use on, you know, in my work. And it's really hard. Like the photo shoots are the things that have been the most stressful for me, because it's just me doing everything and I have to fix that. And so, and I, you know, because I, you know, wasn't all that well behaved a couple of times. Quite stressed out. I had like that one week of the big one, I think I had like 3 major anxiety attacks that like put me in my bed, like
Yeah.
still from head to toe. I lost 12 pounds that week. Um,
Yeah. Time to bring in some support, you know?
and really, and unfortunately at that time, Noemi was very, very ill. And it was crazy. So I learned a lot. Like you learn where you're not so good too, right?
Well, you also learn, right, when you're in the fire.
Yeah,
So
and you learn to apologize.
Yeah, totally. Ask for forgiveness.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, because our time here is wrapping up soon, but for all the women, all the people, anyone out there that is feeling this desire to create, this desire to actually move into what is calling them, what would you like to say to all these people? What would be your words of wisdom to bestow on another?
Well, I think that I would say always just go for it. Go for it and see what happens. Show up and see what happens. But if you're doing a business, get a good accountant. That would be my first thing. Actually set up your accounting, your numbers. But I think, if you have a dream or you have something from your childhood that you've always wanted to do, I mean, like just do it. Just try it. You're going to be bad at some things, you're going to be good at some things, but then when you really know something, and I don't think I've been happier in my life, but I've liked everything that I've done when I've been doing it. When I was a makeup artist, I loved what I did. I loved getting up at 4 a.m, and I felt like I was a part of this little tribe that was going out to create art, and I loved it, for many, many years until I didn't love it anymore. And then the universe just offered me something, and I went for it. And I think you should always do that. I mean, I don't know. I can't, for what's right for me isn't right for someone else, but I've always been that, get up and, get in a car and put all my stuff in a U-Haul and drive across the country and live in Vancouver, or just go to Europe, or, let's next weekend go to, New Orleans for 4 days because we don't have anything to do. And, you know what I mean? Like I've always been that, and I've done a lot of bad things, a lot of partying and a lot of crazy stuff. And I've always just sort of done what I wanted to do, and I paid some prices for that, but mostly I've been pretty grateful. So I think that if you really are, someone's calling you, you should do it. I went to Africa for 3.5 months when I was 42. I sold everything because I just felt like I always felt like I should go there, and I did. When I got there, I felt like I knew where I was.
Yeah, beautiful.
And so I think, and you did that with India.
Yeah.
Like you've led a very similar life. You had children, and you never stopped. You never stopped your adventure, And I think that's what it is. It's just look for the next adventure, and look for the opportunity in anything, even it's particularly if it's seemingly bad.
Yeah.
know that that's the best possible thing that could happen to you today. Keep telling yourself that until you believe it, and then move on. And that's the best advice that I can get. That's the thing that has gotten me through the hardest, losing everything, all that stuff, is just knowing that this is the best possible thing for me to do today. Just, whether I agree, whether I see it, no matter what anybody else thinks, I'm just going to believe that this is the best possible thing for me to do today.
Beautiful.
So,
and then if you could let people know how to get a hold of you, how to get a hold of your product, if they want to have any questions for you or your company,
sure.
Anything you want to share. Like I'm not sure if you have a newsletter, if you do that, but
Yeah, well, we have all of that. We have newsletters, but it's my Sappho, mysappho.ca for Canada or .com for international. And, we have a chat that I'm on all day long, as well as Noemi if she's working. And there's lots of information there. We love to hear from makeup artists. And we have an affiliate program for makeup artists so that they can uh, actually make money back on their purchases, and we have a nice gift for makeup artists that are going back to work on films and stuff. A great brush sort of deal, just sort of help out you.
Oh, FYI, we love our gift.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Oh, thank you.
And it's the first time we've been able to give even just a little bit. So I know, like, somebody else was like, "Oh, we lost like 5 boxes of Kozas to somebody," and I'm laughing. I'm like, "We have like a little bag," but it's okay. It just makes me laugh. But it's been really nice actually this last week because we did send it out to like all the people that are starting. So some of our new packaging and our powders. But what's been really lovely is the connection. So Krista Young, who I haven't talked to in years, we've been yakking, we've been texting and talking. Juliana Vitt from Riverdale got in touch. Rosalina. So all these people that are dear to me have been in touch as a result of that, and that's been really lovely. And Norm is off to Montreal to do a film with Hallie, I think, later on this week. And so she got a bunch of stuff. And so,
so anybody out there, if you have questions, Sappho is such a great resource. And you can hear in this conversation how passionate JoAnn is about it. And I really feel it's like anything, pass on the goodness, pass on the information, educate each other when possible. The conversation about being a leader and a good student, there's so much here on the planet to learn. Always. So much to open to, so much to love about our planet and the paths that we've shared. So I want to thank you for joining us, and thank you for giving me a second shot at episode 3.
And so much.
For those interested, it's actually, we're doing live FaceTime. It's also now on the YouTube channel of Wild Heart Sisterhood. So I invite people to sign up for that YouTube channel, and you can review all the different conversations we've had, and I'll text that to you.
Oh, that's awesome.
What were you?
Well, I was just going to say what you're doing and the work that you're doing is really, really very special.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thanks. And thank you, friend, for sharing your Sunday morning with us. And have an amazing afternoon and day. And I look forward, to keep witnessing everything beautiful about Sappho. And wonderful. So take care, JoAnn. And we'll see you soon.
I hope so, yes.
Bye for now.